Welcome to Backseat Confessions Podcast. Slide into the backseat as we listen to mostly anonymous strangers tell us stories from their lives. I'm a rideshare driver in Atlanta, and the people getting in my car have absolutely no idea I'm going to ask them to share. My commitment to you is to tell at least a snippet of virtually every story recorded in my car in the order they were told to me. My hope is that you laugh, cringe, cry, but mostly connect to these amazing people. You may find a piece of your own story, or just feel more connected to the rest of us. Join us, won't you? So, hey, my new friend. This is an adult podcast. Themes and languages are definitely not suitable for everyone. Listener discretion is advised. Well, I think you're going to enjoy our ride together on episode 5. Today, we start with a lady who is honestly just experiencing a series of unfortunate events. Then we talk with someone who has dealt with mental health issues in her family and has some very valid critiques of emergency services. We move on to a lady who I think may be confronting her mortality through lucid dreaming and some other situations. And next, we chat with an amazing artist who really just kind of breaks all the social norms, and end with a sexually charged encounter that has left some questions in our fair rider's mind. All right, are you ready to slide into the back seat? And well, wait, what was that? You've got to put your clothes on? Okay. You've been listening to me talk in your underwear? Ooh, oh wow, okay. Well, I thought you knew this was the drill. Like, you know, I come on and I invite you to do, like, the ride-along, right? So, yeah, I just assumed you knew, if we're gonna go out into the world, there's some wardrobe requirements. Oh, wait, what? This isn't an actual ride-along? Oh, it's just a figure of speech? Okay, well, in that case, never mind, listener. You can just come along however you're dressed or not dressed. I don't, it's really not even, relevant. Okay, let's just get into it. So this first story is ultimately about a series of very bad, unfortunate events that have taken place in this lady's life. But I'm just going to address up front the probable elephant in the proverbial room and say that she does touch on some racial stuff, and she is white, or whatever it is we're calling less melanined people these days. And yeah, that's a word I just made up, melanined. Write it down. Anyways, I don't feel like she comes at it with any ill will or bad intent. And this is just her experience, which is all I can ask for from my riders, to just share from their life. Also, keep in mind all of the high racial tensions that were happening in the country at the time of this recording. Anyways, I don't want to get lost in the racial component too much. I mostly just want to focus on what a tough time she was having in 2020. And man, on that note, I can completely relate.
Story number 21. Thursday, November 5th, 2020, 1:17 a.m.
So the last couple of weeks of my life have been really, really stressful. A lot of this race stuff that's going on is really affected me, actually. I was doing some community service for a friend of mine's mother, and I was down in not the best part of town of Atlanta.
Okay.
And I was doing charity work for her. So I drove my car down there, and I pull into this apartment complex and it's government housing, and I literally have a gentleman come up to me. He's wasted. I could smell alcohol in his breath, and he puts a 9mm in my face and makes me get out of my car.
Oh my God.
Like 100%.
Wow.
And like, I'm just like, I'm trying to tell this guy, I'm like, look, you don't want my car. Like, this is like the crappiest car in the world. And like, it won't even start without putting it into neutral.
Right.
Like, and he couldn't even get it started. Like, and he was frustrated trying to start the car, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I don't want to die.
Right.
And I'm just so, I don't know what to do at this point. And I'm just like, I just start the car for him, and I like let him try to go, and he can't even get it into gear. It's like crazy. And I'm just like watching this guy try to leave with my car, and he like gets a mile out of the complex and wrecks it.
Oh my God.
So like right after that, like my car was stolen, my purse was in my car, my phone was in my car, and it's like I'm the only white person in that entire neighborhood.
Oh.
So I was like targeted.
Oh.
So the lady, my friend who lives there, she's a white lady, and she was placed into this community, and they're like very aggressive towards her. She's like 70 almost, probably. And like it's like her and her 8-year-old grandson, they're like facing these people who are like lashing out at them violently, and like even me, and I'm just like, I was just there to help her. You know, like because like I have like a '97 Ford Explorer. It's like the shittiest car in the world. It looks like crap, like, right? And I'm just like, why do they want that car?
Right.
Like all the nice cars, right? Like no. And so like she explained to me that it's because we're white and we're in this neighborhood. Apparently they think we're like the police or something, and I just don't even know like what's going on with all this. Like, so the guy takes my car and like wrecks it, and like my insurance doesn't cover it. And then, like, now I'm out of a car. I end up getting kicked out of this lady's house, like, the one that I was helping. She kicks me out. And
Why?
I'm just like... So, I was dating this guy, and he ended up... he's actually in jail right now.
Oh, gosh.
He turned himself in for a probation warrant. It's misdemeanor, so it's not even a big deal. But, he actually had somebody over at her house after she asked us not to, and I wasn't even aware of it. And because of this person that came over... She kicked us out for that.
Oh.
So, like, he got us kicked out. So, like,
Nice.
He goes to jail. I'm just, like, left out here. My car gets taken. I have no phone. I have no purse, no identification. And it's, like, a real struggle, you know? It's, like, really sucks. Like, I was like, I'm really going through it. So, on top of that, I found out that my brother was hanging around some people, and somehow one of the people ended up dead. Yes. So, now he's in jail. It's my twin brother. This is my twin brother. He's in jail for possible homicide.
Oh my God.
And so like it's like my life is like derailing right now. Like I just like don't even know what to do right now. Like, I'm just like stressed out to the max, and it's like I have no resources. My family's like not trying to like look into this and help me. It's like I don't know what to do right now, and I'm just like I don't know. Like so I'm just taking this lift over here to my friends just so I can get my stuff. And I don't know, I'm going to go from there. So hopefully if your podcast has like a lot of viewers, you can maybe help me find some resources. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
It's like I'm like really struggling out here.
Yeah.
The worst.
I don't know if it probably won't release for about a year, but man, gosh, that's
well, even a year from now, I just hope it makes an impact.
Yeah. Well, and
like
you're
even
keeping your
that
chin
guy
up.
who took my car, like I love that guy.
Wow.
And like I forgive that guy, like 100%. Like I forgive that guy 100%.
You're a beautiful human being.
So, I mean, he needed that car more than me, but it's just sucks he wrecked it like right after he pulled out.
Right.
And like totaled it. I went to the tow yard and saw it, and it was just like all the airbags in the front were deployed, and like everything was like taken out of it. It just sucks.
Oh,
my insurance isn't gonna replace it.
Why not?
Because I just had liability. Yeah, unfortunately.
Well,
so.
KJ, keep your chin up.
Yeah. Well,
You're gonna. It's bound to get better, right?
I guess.
Gosh. And by the way, you don't really know anything yet for your brother, right?
No, I haven't. I don't know anything yet. He's got a bond. I don't know if they got the autopsy report back on the guy. Whether or not apparently the guy like was smoking some synthetic marijuana or something.
Yep.
And I think that that's what caused him to have a heart attack or something. So I really don't even know. I'm kind of in the dark with all of it. So.
Right, and he probably can't talk to you because
he's in jail. Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, I love that despite some really tough happenings, she is keeping her head above water, if only barely. Also, she is the rider that had inspired me to think about having some kind of fund set up for riders who are having a tough time. I know it will take time to build trust with you guys, my audience, and also all the fun legal side of setting up some kind of nonprofit, but it is something that I'd like to do eventually, and then give you guys as much info as possible about how the funds were spent, while, of course, keeping most of the recipients anonymous. BT dubs, this is how an idea grows from, hey, let's get some stories and entertain people, to, oh wow, there's a lot more to this project than I thought. But I'm down for the journey, and I'm super glad you're along as well. The next rider is from Canada and has a close-up and personal experience with the authorities on how they deal with people experiencing mental issues. Side note, why are most Canadians just the actual nicest? I mean, we do have a handful of nice people, mostly in the Midwest, but geez, yeah, they're just super duper nice up there in the frozen north, eh?
Story number 22. Thursday, November 5th, 2020, 7:58 p.m.
So one of my brothers, actually both of them, they both got diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Oh, wow.
But I've learned a lot through their journeys.
Okay.
And some things that like even a psychiatrist couldn't even tell you, like it's just, it comes with experience and living with somebody or some people that are mentally ill. So that's what kind of made me want to go into mental health in university.
Wow.
Because I originally started with like French, and I didn't even know what I was doing like when I first started university.
Right.
But I guess as time goes by, life kind of takes it with you, you know?
Yeah.
I say a lot. Wow. But so what I noticed is they weren't really schizophrenic. They were misdiagnosed. It's crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to be like messing with someone's life like that.
Yeah.
And they actually were diagnosed with drug-induced psychosis. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it's basically like when you go into like a psychosis, you have like these episodes once you mix it with drugs. So like certain people can't handle, like their brains can't really handle the drugs.
Okay.
So they go into like these episodes and like, oh my God, like it's just like a nightmare. It's a nightmare for like everybody living with them.
Now these are street drugs or?
Yeah, these are street drugs. So like, first I thought it was like marijuana.
Yep.
But it wasn't. Sometimes marijuana can make you go into like a psychosis. But this is more of like Xanax, LSD, Adderall, all those type of drugs.
Wow.
That everyone thinks is like cool, but you just never know, you know, because every brain is different, every person is different, every reaction is different, and it's not even worth it. Like for your loved ones, for yourself, you know, sometimes you just can't come back from it. Like your brain doesn't recover.
Wow.
But thankfully, like my brothers did. One of my brothers, like he's my inspiration because he's gone through all of this.
Yeah. And
he's managed to really like change his life around. He knows that like drugs or weed or none of that is not for him.
Wow.
So he just learned his lesson. Like he got admitted into like a psych ward, like all of the above. So he just learned from that, and now he's doing really good for himself. He started a business. Like he's not even on no medications, like none of that. So that's really good.
That's huge.
What else did I want to say? I wanted to say something in regards to this. Oh, I feel like, I don't know about in the States because I'm Canadian.
Okay.
But I feel like this applies here too. I feel like the police authorities, they don't take this very serious when they're called upon. Like I can tell you numerous times I've called the police when my brother was into like having a psychosis, like he was having an episode, and I called the police, and all they cared about was, oh, does he have a weapon on him? And that I understand. Like, you know, you're looking out for your safety.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what about his safety? What about our safety? You know, what about after that? They just care about in the moment. They'll come, they'll assess the situation. Okay, he's okay. Okay, all right. And I'm like, okay, are you guys going to take him to the hospital? Like,
right.
They're like, no, he's over the age of 18, so he should be fine. It's just like a dispute. It's a sibling. Like, they'll just make excuses. Like, sometimes he'll like physically attack me, but like I won't really do anything because I know that's not really who he is. He's like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to tell them, but they just don't listen. Like, they refuse to listen. It's just kind of like, it kind of feels like they give you like the cold shoulder, and like it's kind of like, you're wasting my time. I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very frustrating because people's lives are on the hand, and you don't know what this person can do. And what's really sad is this just recently happened. Like, it got to a point where I started getting so frustrated with like authorities that I had to start getting rude with them. Like, I had to like look up my rights, look up whatever it is.
Yeah.
That goes back to like me kind of like having to learn things on my own. Yeah, so it's kind of sad because that there's this one day they didn't want to take my brother to the hospital, and they were telling me like, no, he's fine. And they're like, well, we need a valid reason to take him to the hospital. I'm like, first of all, I called you guys because I told you he's physically attacked me. He has a knife in his hands. He wanted to throw himself off the balcony.
Wow.
Like, he's making there's literally every single thing on the checklist. You can check it off, but they're still telling me we need something else. So I said, okay. I turned on my camera and I made sure they see me recording. And I'm like, okay, so if anything happens to my brother, if he hurts anybody, he hurts himself, I'm gonna hold you accountable, and I'm gonna hold you accountable, officer. The way it's so crazy. Their whole attitude, everything switched. They were like, okay, nope, you're going to the hospital. I'm like, that, you're damn right. Because I have a midterm right now, and I don't have time for this. Like,
a Canadian had to be rude. This must have been really hard on you.
Can you believe?
I know.
It was
I know.
so hard.
Did you have to go write? You probably wrote this down somewhere, like the day I was rude.
The day I was rude.
No, but I'm so, on a serious note, like, I'm so glad you stood up for yourself, and really more importantly, you were an advocate for your brother.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I think one of the things that makes me think of, and I've been thinking this actually just this year with all of the highlight on police issues, obviously, that we're seeing here in the States, and then its relationship to mental health, because so many problems happen with mental health. I wonder if there needs to be almost like a whole separate department, or right?
Yes,
because
I completely agree.
Because I want to be mad at the police, but I'm like, let's face it, a 25-year-old dude, bunch of testosterone, you gave him a little shiny badge and a gun, and now we're expecting him, like, he's going to be great. Right. If there's a bad guy shooting at people, he's going to be awesome. But then you throw someone with the mental health thing, and he's not really trained in that, and you're like, why? So maybe part of the problem is, like, the system just isn't equipped, right? And on situations like that, it really should be handled by mental health professionals, and the police should be there only in case things go horribly. How do you feel about that? No,
I completely agree. I think it should be the mental health. I think a medical doctor should come, if anything.
Yeah, we definitely.
But I don't think that the police should be the main. They should be the main people called upon.
I agree.
Or even dealing with the situation, because sometimes, like, paramedics understand the situation better than a police officer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah.
But I don't blame them, but I kind of do blame them. I don't know if I blame the system. Like, I don't know who to blame. It's just like, oh my God. Like, if anything, just put in your training.
I know. Yeah. I'm with you.
But I'm not gonna lie though, there has been a lot of good officers and very helpful ones. You know, there's always going to be some bad guys, some good guys.
Yeah.
That's with everything.
I know. So are your brothers then still considered to be schizophrenic, or are they now? You said that's been relieved.
That's been relieved. They in regards to like schizophrenia, they've been misdiagnosed for that. Wow. So they have drug-induced psychosis. And then my other brother, he has a bipolar disorder.
Okay.
But it's just shocking from someone, like, from my perspective. Like, I'm their sister. I grew up with them, you know, so it's kind of like, this came out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from? And then, like, what's even more sad is that, like, you see how it affects your parents. You see how it affects your mom. Like, you know, that's what really kills me on top of everything. Having to see my mom, like, cry to the police to take their son to the hospital. And, like, like, please, like, just do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made my little Canadian root self come out.
Yeah. And now you've switched your major into
mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah.
And where do you want to go with that?
I want to be a psychiatrist.
Amazing.
To help people and not only just diagnose them, you know, I want to be able to help their family as well. I want people that have been in my situation to kind of feel like they have someone to talk to. You know, whether it's the patient, whether it's the mom, whether it's the dad, the sibling. Like, I feel like I kind of know all perspectives.
That is I love that, and I'm sure that's being done, but I always just think of it in terms of the patient. I forget about the fallout on the family.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
And I'm like, do you know how much stress we go through?
Oh my God, right. It's kind of like Al-Anon or whatever that is for for people that are in addiction. Man, situations where a loved one is having a mental breakdown, they're just so freaking hard. I've dealt with this a couple of times, and it is terrifying to watch someone you love lose touch with reality. And then to reach out to the people that are supposed to be there to help, and you realize that some, and I do want to say some, not all, but some of the police just either aren't trained or maybe just don't care. That's a difficult one. As much as I can be hard on cops, and I think we need to keep them and the whole system accountable, I will give kudos, though, to our Fair City ATL for their 311 initiative. As of this recording, I haven't heard of how well it actually works firsthand, but they've opened up a non-emergency line, this 311 line, for mental health crises and extreme poverty situations. So hey, that seems like a step in the right direction anyways. Our next rider shares 2 stories. Yeah, we got a twofer here. I will jump in to transition the stories, but this first one is terrifying. If you've ever experienced like sleep paralysis or something like that, it's wild.
Story number 23. Thursday, November 5th, 2020, 11:20 p.m.
So my mom and I were driving from Atlanta down to Florida. It was a long drive, and driving to my grandfather's house, and tired, went into the room, lay down, went to sleep. I remember the fan being on, and it was just a cool breeze in the room, and went to sleep. At some point in my sleep, it's like I don't know what it was, but I felt it was so surreal, as if I was in the moment, like how I'm looking at you right now, how surreal that is.
Yeah.
I was floating in the clouds over a theme park. And I got so scared because it was so real. I thought I was dead.
Oh, God.
It was so scary that I was wiggling my toes to get out of that dream. And as I'm wiggling my toes, I'm actually looking at my toes in my dream, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm dead.
Oh no.
And I got so scared. My heart was beating so fast because I couldn't get out of this surreal dream. I was like so scared. I was so scared. I couldn't get out of this surreal dream. I didn't know what to do. I was wiggling my toes to get out of this dream. I was shaking my hand to get out of the dream, but I was looking at myself doing it in the dream. So I was like, yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead. And I never had a dream so surreal in my life.
Wow.
I tried to look it up online, and I think they said it's lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, yep. That's exactly
and
right.
I never was able to return to lucid dreaming.
Oh,
And yeah, so
that's amazing.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know, unless someone has gone through some type of lucid dreaming, they would never understand
Yep.
lucid dreaming.
I've talked to people who've lucid dreamed before. I've never been able to. And there's actually people who practice it. And I know.
See, I heard you could practice it. And I'm like, what?
Yep, my youngest son practices it sometimes. But I actually know a person who only lucid dreams, which is freaking like what the what.
What?
Yeah, every night she goes to sleep, she lucid dreams.
I don't think I want to lucid dream.
No.
That was so scary for me. Like my heart was pounding. I don't want to return to it because I thought I was dead.
Oh my God.
But it was very peaceful.
Right.
At least I think I was going to heaven.
Yeah.
I was in the clouds. It was a
Right.
nice, beautiful day, and I was going over a theme park.
I
I
love
don't
it.
even go to theme parks. But whatever. Maybe that's probably where I'm going to go out at. The theme
Yeah.
park. But who knows?
That's amazing.
That's one story.
Okay, I love that you're a twofer.
Yes.
That's amazing. So where do you land yourself, with dreams? Do you have them, or, more accurately, do you remember them? Do you think they have significance? How about the whole lucid dreaming or even sleep paralysis stuff? It's so interesting to me. Okay, so now she tells of another incident in her life when she feels like she might not make it.
The scariest moment I've ever had in my life was with my ex.
Oh, wow.
We got into a very big argument, and we eventually got into a physical fight, and I fell on the floor. I lost my balance and I fell on the floor. It wasn't a push. And I guess I was screaming. I got scared because he had a pillow in his hand. And because I was screaming, it was like early in the morning, like between 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And he put the pillow over my face to stop screaming.
Oh.
Now, mind you, he's bigger than I am. The last thing you want to do when someone is screaming is you want to put something over their face. I couldn't breathe worth of shit. So I had to tell myself to calm down and try my best to breathe through the pillow just to catch my breath, because if I didn't catch my breath, I would have died.
Yeah.
That was the scariest day of my life, because I never had a pillow put over my face before.
No.
Especially when you're already accelerating from arguing and then a pillow.
Wow.
That was the scariest day of my life. However, once I got out of that, I started to learn how to hike. And guess who learned breathing techniques?
Uh-oh.
Me.
I love it. So you took a tragedy
and flipped it into something. Now we got a threefer.
Okay, I love it.
It's a win victory now.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's amazing. It is interesting to me that both you're not going to believe it and you're scary potentially deal with your mortality. Did you
I never thought about it.
Yeah.
No.
So when you're telling me, I'm like, oh my God, they're both about your mortality.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Maybe?
I am an Aquarius.
I don't know what being an aquarium means. That was a joke.
Maybe it has something to do with it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know enough about the signs to have like an intelligent. I don't know what they mean. But yeah, that's fascinating. You'll have to dig into that one.
Yeah, maybe you should get into like astrology just a little bit.
I'll bring a telescope next time.
Yes.
I like that.
I'm a moon and a sun sign.
You're awesome. Well, I'm probably the only person in Atlanta that doesn't know much about astrology, but I'm grateful she let me be stupid and played along. I love to play verbal ping pong with someone who is funny and easygoing and knows how to keep the, quote, ball up in the air. On a more serious note, men using their size to hurt or intimidate women is something I really just don't understand. And domestic violence is just horrible. For God's sake, real men, whatever that even means, of course, but real men for sure don't hit or hold pillows over their significant other's mouth. Go deal with your stuff, man. Don't take it out on others. On the flip, though, I love how she turned her scariest moment into a skill. That's how you do it. Our next rider just has some amazing energy. In this story, though, he finds himself in a disorienting situation, almost like he slipped between the cracks and fell into an alternate universe. Giddy up, cowboy.
Story number 24. Thursday, November 5th, 2020, 11:39 p.m.
Well, a lot of my people actually only know me from the times that I spent at Georgia State. I never was enrolled there. I never took a class there a day in my life, but someone that I was really close to at the time was enrolled there, and all I would do is go and drink. That was literally all I was there for, was going to party and drink. And I met so many people, and I've had this conversation so many times, that would come to me and they'd be like, "Hey man, well, what are you studying? What's your major, dude? What are you in school for?" "Oh no, I don't go here. I'm just here to party. I'm just here to get drunk. That's all I'm here for."
It's amazing.
And I met so many people that way. I've almost been indoctrinated into 3 different frats. People have tried to get me to join so many different things, just being around Georgia State, and all I was there for was just drinking with my friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, talk about stupid shit that I've done that I thought I had a story for. Oh man, there was one night we partied at what was the more Republican kind of frat.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very strange night, man. We was maybe a handful of black people in there. It was maybe 10, 11 of us, and I have a party that had maybe 50, 60 people in it.
Right.
And I just remember getting really, really drunk, and I passed out on the sofa somewhere. And I know, whatever hip-hop song at the time was, most popular was playing. And then I woke up to, Yeehong and, a bunch of really country music in the background. So it was just, a really crazy, just, fucking scene shift, man. I went to sleep, and everybody was just, dancing and twerking and all this, urban culture's going on. And I wake up, and I'm, in the middle of the country somewhere.
That's hilarious. And obviously, for the podcast, you're a young black guy.
Yeah.
So that's why that would make that a little bit of a whiplash moment for you.
Right.
Amazing.
Like I said, one scene to another. It was really really fast how quick it happened.
And you were telling me earlier, I think this is kind of interesting, you're a musician.
Yes.
And
I play guitar, and I do the really crazy, really deep metal vocals, the screaming vocals. Yeah, that's what I've a deep passion of mine, something I love to do for years and years. I've been playing guitar for maybe about 10, 12 years,
awesome.
something like that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just I thought that was another interesting factoid, because that's makes you a minority within a minority, because not a lot of black people are into heavy metal. So I do know some, but it's pretty
right. I'm in that scene myself, and I could probably count the ones of us that are really into metal and stuff like that on one, maybe 2 hands if I had to. It's really, really small.
you're in the minority. Love it. For some reason, I'm just personally so fascinated by those people that don't fit into whatever box that most of us do. And we can blame it on society or whatever other force, but you're just not going to meet many young black guys out there that are metalheads and play. Rock on, man. So our last story today was the final story featured on the bonus episode that came out last year. She has such a great giggle and a very adult interaction with someone in her life. Crazy how you can have a pretty significant interaction with someone and then just completely not talk about it afterwards.
Story number 25. Friday, November 6th, 2020, 12:33 a.m.
So, for my best friend's birthday.
Oh, she's already losing it.
For my best friend's birthday, my best friend is a twin.
Oh, wow.
And he's a guy,
Okay.
and his best friend is a girl. And one day we were in Puerto Rico, and I was in the shower, and she asked if she can use the bathroom. And she came in and she ate my pussy in the bathroom.
Whoa! And are you normally bi?
No.
So that was like a total.
It was like I was thrown off by it so bad. And we came back and we sat at the table to eat, and she was perfectly fine and normal. And I was just like thrown off by it.
So you were like super awkward.
Yes.
And she was just like doo doo doo.
Yep. She was just like, this is what happened.
This is what. So, did you guys ever acknowledge it or talk about it, or was it just like it just happened?
Never. I see her all the time.
Oh my! Oh wait, so you still see her, and you've never acknowledged it?
No, it's so weird.
That is.
She acts totally normal.
Oh my God, that's
it's
amazing.
It's a crazy story.
By the way, so your best friend, the guy twin, does he know?
No, I never told him.
So this is like truly like the only space you
yes,
sit. That is amazing.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
All
yeah.
right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. I thank you so much for sharing your story tonight.
Thank you.
Well, there's that. I know it's a tad confusing in how she identifies the lady, that snacked on her hoo-hoo. But I think our writer meant that the snacker was the twin sister of her bestie. And I mean, I don't have a vajayjay to get eaten out, but I feel like if I did and that happened, I might want to talk about it later. First of all, the balls to pull back the curtain and just go for it. When our new friend at least says she's not giving off any vibes that she's even into chicks. So many questions, jeez. Anyways, what are the conversations in your life that you just haven't had because of shame, or they just felt like they would be too uncomfortable? I hope that if you're ready, you can have those conversations, especially if they really need to happen. So brave up. And who knows, maybe the other person is hoping you'll be the one to take the first step. And for what it's worth, I believe in you. You've got this. This is what happens when you are a rideshare driver in Atlanta and ask people for their stories. These weren't handpicked people with great stories. They just happened to get in my car and be gracious enough to share with all of us. And who knows, maybe someday you'll be in Atlanta and need to grab a rideshare and end up telling the rest of us the next great story on BCP. I'd actually encourage you to, every so often, just ask a stranger to share a story from their life. You never know what you might learn. I believe that our stories are powerful. They can make you laugh, cringe, cry, or even get you to think or feel differently. Our stories can truly make this world a little bit better place. So please subscribe, rate, and listen to this podcast and share it with as many adults as possible. It would mean so much to me. First and foremost, I want to thank the incredible writers who trusted me with your stories. You're my heroes. Thanks also to all the people in the background who have believed in this project/dream. All of the music on this podcast was found on pixabay.com, and it was free, which is an amazing gift when you're starting a podcast on a shoestring budget.